Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome back to another episode of the Gran Turismo Weekly Challenges. This is where I go over the 5 sets of weekly challenges for the week and let you know what sort of cars I use, because usually I like to give myself a bit of a disadvantage, and these are the 5 events that will be happening this week, week 2 of January. You've got a Sunday Cup event, FF Challenge, another time trial, and a Porsche Cup race, the second week in a row, and a 700 World Touring Car PP. So we're going to jump into this one first. The Sunday Cup Classic, your typical old car sort of scrap, same as what was, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, where I had that Honda S800. This time I have the Porsche 356, the hardtop version. I wanted to use this car because, well, this livery I have made for it is, I will put the link for all the liveries that I use in the video down in the description. This one of my own, including multiple colour variants of it. But it's a pretty good car to drive, all things considered. I think it's one of the best looking Porsches that they ever made. I'm a bit of a fan of the classic Porsche styling. Yes, the wheels are very small, the wheelbase is very small compared to the body, but hey, that doesn't really matter when you're driving a 356. I wanted to choose this one over the Speedster one because it had a bit less of power. Like I said, I wanted to disadvantage myself as much as I could, but it turns out it wasn't really that much of a disadvantage, but it was only 2 laps, so can't really complain about that. And race 1 was all finished, as I usually finish it off with a bit of style. The next track is this one, the Tokyo Expressway Central clockwise route of the Japanese FF450 challenge, and the car that I used was the Suzuki Swift Sport, and it's the one that I used in the video that will be up in the top right corner. So it still has that 100 horsepower that I detuned it to. So once again, using a bit of a disadvantage. And not gonna lie, wasn't very good at driving this track, I will admit. There will be a few scraps and bumps on this poor wee Suzuki Swift before the end of the video, but that's beside the point. As for the car, I mean, it's a detuned Suzuki Swift, so it's not really the most exciting thing in the world, but it meant it kept the race nice and close, because I could have picked a Civic Type R, I could have, but I would have lapped everyone or passed everyone after lap 1, so it's not really that fun. But let me know what vehicles you use for these 5 events. Well, 4 events, one of them you have to use a vehicle that everyone else uses. Whether or not you're one of those drivers that just picks the fastest one and breezes through these events, or just like me, gives yourself a bit of a challenge and makes it a bit more exciting, because Gran Turismo AI, not exactly the most exciting bit of racing when it wants to be, but this race again was probably, I made it more difficult for myself for driving a bit like a numpty. But this is coming up to the end of the race 2, nicely done from the wee Suzuki Swift. And as we head on to the special event for the week, it's another time trial. This time it's taken the Renault Espace F1 round circuit, Spa-Francorchamps, or Spa. It's a wee bit of a just after Radeon using the layout, and I think the goal time was about 51 seconds. If you remember in the video where I did the FTO time trial, I said that the time trials were piss easy, so it wasn't really that good and exciting to do. This one, a bit more of a challenge. I don't know whether or not that's because they made the goal time a bit more of a struggle, or just because of how the Renault Espace F1 is like, but I drove it a bit more flat out than the FTO, and there was a bit less of a gap between my time and the goal time. But I thought as I would, being such a short event, just put the whole lap in, and I thought I'd put my telemetry as well. 4th event, we ain't going far, we're still sticking with Spa, but this time in the Porsche Cup. This is the 2nd week in a row that we're using the Porsche Cup, but I thought I'd challenge myself a bit more. This is the Porsche 904 Carrera, I think it is, and This thing, I think, only has 170 horsepower, so it's going to be a bit slow on the straights. I don't think it got to 140 miles per hour. Around the corners, though, it was amazing to drive. It's completely stock apart from the aero that this player has put on, so if you want to use this livery, you can check it out in the description. But around the corners, this thing was amazing to drive. It was flawless, I reckon, and for a mid-engine rear-wheel drive car, aside from I just made that mistake there, it really ever skidded the tail. Sometimes with mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars they can be a bit tail happy because of all the weight that's out the back, but this one was a bit different. It felt more planted. It's got sports mediums, so I'll give them that, it's got sports mediums, but over Origin Radeon it was such a good car to drive. I'd recommend you trying this event using the Carrera and see for yourself, because if it can win at Spa, it could probably win in the other Porsche Cup races, because this is probably the quickest track that these things race against each other on, and it's passing 911 GT3s and 959s and all that sort of stuff. Again, I wanted to try something a bit different, because every time I do the Porsche Cup race, I always just use a 911, so I wanted to spice it up a bit. Last episode I used the 964 Carrera for the Porsche Cup episode, but this time I'm going to probably use the lowest powered Porsche 911 that I could possibly do and win. I could use the 930 Rally version, or even the 1972 Carrera RS if they add more Porsche Cup races in the next weekly challenges, but that's the third one done and dusted. Good car to drive. Well, fourth one, the third one was a time trial, but the last event is this one, the World Touring Car 700 PP race around Deep Forest. You've got 10 laps, the Group 4 cars, but I didn't use a Group 4 car, I used one of my custom cars. This is the Ice Rally car that I built out of a Toyota GR Yaris. Now, if you want to see the video on this, it'll be in the top right corner if I remember to put it in, but this is not a race car, how I've set it up. It's set up to be a rally car, so I didn't change the setup or anything. All I did was put racing hard tyres on it, so it's not like it was built for this sort of event, but it was still a brilliant car to drive. Plus, it looks good as well. Again, one of my own personal liveries, so it will be in the description if you want to use it. And it was just such a brilliant thing to drive, and being a rally car, it slid the tail out a few times as well when it wanted to, and I think it was about lap 4 when I caught up with the leaders, which isn't too bad, and it was able to, oh yeah, here we go, here's the battle here, and that wee 3-cylinder was a punchy wee thing. This thing has just over 400 horsepower, and I think it's about 1200 kilos how I built it. I can't quite remember. Anyway, had a pit stop in the race. Had to do a pit stop. Just split the race in the middle. I got it at 50-50. For the fuel map, I put it down to 6 because, well, it's a road car engine, and for whatever reason, road car engines in this game are thirsty. That's why when people do the Le Mans 700 race, they usually do it in a race car converted, or in a road car with a race car engine in it. That's what I do. But so I put the fuel map down to 6, but it didn't really hamper the pace too much. It really didn't really do much. I still won by a country mile, by about a minute from what I remember, and that is lap traffic in front of me, and that would be, well, bit of contact there, but apart from that, that would be the end of the weekly challenges for me. I got them all done and dusted quite quickly, and as usual, I'll show you what I got for my rewards. You get $100,000 for the first race, $200,000 for the third race, and for the fifth race you get $500,000. So pretty good stuff there, as usual. The 3-star wheel spin for my daily mileage, so that's a bit shit, and the rewards weren't exactly that juicy anyway. I'd get that over there, that pocket money. you could say. But if you want to see more weekly challenges, give a like and a subscribe. The support is always appreciated for these videos. I love making Gran Turismo content, and check out my other videos as well whenever you want to. I make custom car videos, online time trials, and other various Gran Turismo content, and I will see you in the next video.